Hey, this is Josh from Not a Robot Podcast. We just wanted to let you know that we love doing these shows and appreciate that you're listening. To show us some support, we've cut everything out of the middle. Pay $2.99 a month to get full access to our Discord server on Discord. You get all of our shows as soon as they get released. You get to chat with us and a shout out on the podcast each and every week. You can head over to notarobotpodcast.com for links to join the Discord, send an email to have read on the show, links to our Substack, and more. Don't forget to find us on Twitter and Instagram too. Thanks again for listening. Now let's get you back to the show. Stay human.
Hello, humans! It's Rob here with Not a Robot Podcast's DC Comics review show, number 148, the world's greatest comic show about the world's greatest superheroes. And with me, as always, is Brandon.
Hello, everybody. Sorry about the drumming in the background. Believe it or not, despite my prodigious skill, it's actually not me playing and talking at the same time. It's someone else. So.
Don't sell yourself short. We know that's you. You got Mr. Fantastic arms.
You saw nothing.
And Josh.
Hey there, everybody. I'm just sitting here feeling sorry for Superman. I just heard he lost a fortune in crypto.
The coin that bites back.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love how Brandon just doesn't even groan anymore. That's awesome. We all have our parts to play.
Yeah. Okay. So today we are looking at Harley Quinn number 30, Unstoppable Doom Patrol number 3, Nightwing number 104, and Action Comics number 1055. As for the books we are going through today, as well as some honorable mentions, y'all know the drill. We review the books, we talk about them, you hear us talk about them. We'll let you know how they are. We let you know how good they are. We let you know if they're bad. And we hope you read along with us, because it's more fun that way. But before we get into all that, as well as the honorable mentions, let's get into some news. What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
Not too bad, my friend. How are you?
Yeah. I'm all right. Going to a convention this weekend, actually. Not a comic convention. Anime North, it's called.
Still fun.
Kind of a convention, I guess you could call it. But yeah, it's still kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's not. It's kind of weird where there's a central building, but a lot of the panels are at the surrounding hotels, and the main building is really just selling floors.
Yeah, that is a little odd.
Yeah,
That's weird.
it's really, really weird how they set it up. Even though the main building also has conference rooms, but they don't use them. So I don't know what the hell the point is.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty much it for me.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, you're done with finals now, eh? Or you still got a couple
I'm
left?
finished. I'm free. No, the semester's
Nice.
over at this point, so it's just me and the rest of the summer and the summer job. But that's not for another 2 weeks, so I've got nice free time to just enjoy myself, read some comics, catch up on some comics, which I've been able to do with haste, and just relax.
That's good.
Yeah.
Anything in particular?
Is good.
Isaiah, I hope you're listening. I have been like catching up on Ice Cream Man with like a passion, because I think I've just really been getting into the writing for that book recently. So I burned through like volumes 2 through 5 yesterday because they only collect 4 issues in each volume, so they're really easy to get through, and the writing is so engaging that it's like it's really just it's so gripping that it's not a chore to get through. It's you just like fly right through it. So yeah, I'm pretty much just going to finish that until I'm caught up with everything, and then just eagerly wait for the next issue like everyone else.
Right on. What are you up to, Josh? What's going on? You're muted, bud.
I sure am. Not a
That
whole
mic
lot
button's
has
so
been-
finicky.
It is. Well, see, I'm using this different microphone until I get my new one back, and there's no button on this, so it's not sitting there flashing at me, letting me know no one can hear me. I'm
Right.
just using the mute button on the software. But anyway, not a whole lot has been going on in my neck of the woods. I've started reading the Grayson comic. 3 issues in. It's not stellar, but I'm not throwing in the towel yet, and I will
Good.
reserve all judgment until the volume is finished.
Yeah, the first
That-
volume is a little awkward. I think most people will
Yeah.
attest to that, but as I think a lot of people kind of acknowledge, it's really the second volume, I think, when things kind of really pick up and the series sort of comes into its own, and it'll be interesting to see your reaction. That's actually the first, I believe, solo script that Tom King got to do for the series, where it was, him and Tim Seeley co-plotting, but he was actually scripting that issue. I believe it's issue 5, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's how volume 2 starts. And that was the one where I was like, okay, now we're cooking with gas.
All right. Well, hopefully I feel the same way y'all do. I will let you know when I get there.
Hopefully,
Nice.
I'm be excited if you actually enjoy it. Excuse me.
I will be surprised, but let's go with I mean, if it's one more comic that I enjoy, then regardless of who wrote it, it's a wonderful thing. So
Yeah, exactly. Apart from personal stuff, one thing I did notice, because I haven't actually had a lot of comic book news come across my way recently, but one thing that did drop today, and technically also yesterday, can be thrown in together. Marvel announced 2 omnibuy, I guess. Do you call it omnibuy? Two omnibus.
omnibuses.
Omnibuses. It sounds so weird.
Yeah.
Omnibuses.
Yeah.
Well,
Omnibuses
yeah,
sounds
but
like
I mean, you see
mega
buses
transit.
on the street, right? You don't see
Yeah.
buy on the street. You see buses.
I
I
see
don't know, if
plenty
you
of
see
pie
me-
on the street.
yeah. If you see me
Well,
walking
I
Can I
down
get
the
my rim
street,
shot?
You know what I mean. God damn.
are you going shopping? So yeah,
Jesus.
two omnibus buses, I guess. Sounds so weird. Of classic 80s comics that Marvel used to have the rights to, and then recently, I guess, got the permission to reprint them. Yesterday, they announced ROM Space Knight is being reprinted,
Insane.
and now announced today. And Josh, you might be really excited about this one. I don't know. I'll judge your excitement on this. The Micronauts is getting a reprint.
Oh wow, dude! It's been
Yeah.
so long since I heard that word. I forgot it was a
Right?
word.
The original Bill Mantlo comics are being reprinted. Let me get the issue count. Yeah, from 1979 actually, and then special edition 1 to 5 from 83. So you get 1 to 29, the annual 1 and 2, and then special edition 1 to 5, all in this collected edition. Plus reproducing
Nice.
Micronauts number 1 in a facsimile edition from 1979. So that's all being reprinted. And if I gotta say one thing, and this might just be hopeful on my part. This can't be a coincidence that they've partnered up with Hasbro to reprint these old series all of a sudden, and that I suspect tomorrow we're going to get another announcement. There was recently Hasbro properties being printed that the who the hell was printing it? Holy crap!
IDW.
Well, it says IDW. Thank you. That they lost the licensing last year. Transformers and GI Joe, both owned by Hasbro, both printed by Marvel in the 80s, or at least Transformers was. I think they did GI Joe, but I'm not too sure about that. And the Marvel Transformers comics were classics.
Conan as well.
There you go. Which I think they already have publishing rights for Conan. Oh, they don't anymore, eh? Because he was on the Avengers for a while, wasn't he?
They blew that so hard. It was kind of disappointing.
Savage Avengers?
Really, I remember. Because this was like right as I was discovering Conan for the first time and getting into the Roy Thomas, Sal Buscema stuff. So I remember when they announced it back in 2018, if you can believe that. And then had the new Jason Aaron, Mahmoud Asrar series for 2019, and then that was like that had big fanfare, and I think it did decently well because they were able to greenlight a couple of other series. There was like the Jerry Duggan Savage Sword of Conan with Ron Garney, and like I was following all of that stuff, and then I think after about 8 to 10 months, as sales started to dip, they did like one last push. They did like a Conan event with Serpent War, and then just kind of gave up, and then had to sell the rights over to Titan.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
well done.
Disappointing.
I mean, Conan's kind of an interesting character in a way. Like, it can definitely fit that bill for people that like fantasy, but at the same time, when people hear Conan, I think they still think of Schwarzenegger. And it just
which is funny
doesn't scream fantasy to me.
Yeah, which is funny because
Action.
Dark Horse had the rights to Conan for years, and I mean they did pretty well with the series.
Yeah.
Like you look it up, there are like 15 different Conan series from Dark Horse that they were able to, keep for a while. So it's not like they had trouble retaining the rights. So it's just interesting that Marvel had it for basically 3 years and then had to sell it off.
Yeah, that's weird. That'd be interesting. I mean, the point I was trying to get across was maybe Marvel is reacquiring the Transformers comics, and will acquire GI Joe as well. Maybe it's leading to some big announcement, because that's been a question. People haven't talked about Transformers comics in a while, ever since the end of IDW's publishing run last year.
Yeah.
But it's still on my mind. Like, are they going to try and farm out comics rights? If so, who's going to get it? Like, Marvel had it for the longest time. I could definitely see them getting it again. That would certainly be
that
interesting.
Kind of a relationship being budding with all of these, the Micronauts and etc. I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah,
it would make sense for sure. And then the next thing you know, Optimus Prime shows up in a movie with Daredevil.
There's something about driving blind in there, and I can't quite figure it out. Yeah. Why Daredevil of all people? That's an interesting.
I don't know. It's just what came out, and yeah, and then you said driving blind, and then I thought of Al Pacino, and like it's kind of snowballed from there. So,
Train thought of your way into Dog Day Afternoon, as is
indeed. Well, son of a woman, but
yeah. Oh, well, I mean, like now I've made you think about Dog Day Afternoon. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thanks.
You're welcome.
But I think that's about it for me, anyway.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think that's about it for all of us. You got anything, Brandon?
No, nothing. Nothing else in terms of comics.
Yeah, it's been a pretty quiet week.
Yeah, there was that really. I mean, it was such a sweet, endearing tribute page to Rachel Pollack.
Yes.
Known most notably for Doom Patrol, It's illustrated wonderfully with amazing colors. It
The
says,
only thing is,
"Goodbye,
like,
my friends."
it's a
Yeah.
great quote in the context of Rachel Pollack, but I hate that quote. I hate that quote because of the context of it. But I appreciate the tribute, of course.
Yeah, it'll pull on your heartstrings with the with the right motivation. It got me a
Yeah,
little bit. I was like, "Oh."
yeah. DP fans will know what I'm talking about. It's not a very good issue, but it was a nice sentiment to send off
Yeah,
Rachel Pollack.
fair enough. Also, Josh, can I make a request?
Sure.
So last week you had GL, the animated series. This week you have Batman, the animated series. Next week, on your background, can you play the first episode of Superman, the animated series? Just
I
go
will. I
through all the
will.
anime. Then we'll do Batman Beyond, and then Static Shock, and then Justice League, and then.
Yes.
I will do what I can.
So I've been thinking about watching Superman, the animated series again recently. I just haven't gotten around to it.
We'll watch it during the podcast. All right.
Yeah, why not? I don't need volume. I just need the visuals. What honestly did it raised a question that I brought up to people. I don't remember if anybody answered. Like, who is your ideal voice for Superman in animated form? Is it George Newbern or
Tim
John
Daly.
Daly? Tim Daly. Yeah, not John Daly.
Probably Tim Daly. I think
Yeah,
particularly just because I've been rewatching a lot of Superman Toss, so that's kind of the voice that comes to mind right now.
I did a comparison, or I watched. I didn't do a. I watched a comparison video, and honestly,
Mm,
I think I'm more Tim Daly.
yeah.
Like, I honestly didn't really notice much of a difference when Justice League started versus his voice in Superman Toss. And then when I found out later, I'm like, oh shit, okay, I hear the differences now, and Tim Daly just sounds so much better. George Newbern actually has like classic sound to his voice, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I think Tim Daly's he's got a better Superman voice. I don't
I
know.
always thought he sounded a bit more relaxed, which I kind of liked. Like, I never saw Superman as being very uptight and posturing. Like, Tim
Yeah,
Daly's Superman, like, that's another thing about that show. Like, he's someone who's not afraid to, like, crack wise or make a joke. Like, I rewatched, I think it was a couple weeks ago, the first episode where Mr. Mixius Pitlick first appears. And, like, Superman is just a troll that entire episode. And it's great
yeah,
because
that's a
he
great
just
one.
like it could be very simple for him to get angry and like upset and like I'm so tired of this fifth dimension, but like literally he's just like, yeah, fuck it, like if he's gonna fuck with me, I'll fuck with him, and just starts trolling him back, and it's so great, and he has such a casual nature about it.
Exactly. No, that was a really good episode. I could definitely see that for sure. That's a good point. Uh,
You guys are. I think it's really really hard for me to. It was Newburn that was no. It was Daly that was in the majority of the DCAU, right? Not
Realistically, yeah,
just
he
not
did
just Superman
Justice League
Toss.
and Justice League
Yeah,
United Unlimited, and then
I
I
mean
think he was in
the
the
animated
movies.
movie series.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was Tim Daly. All
yeah.
right,
I don't. I
then
think
yeah,
George
I'm a Tim
Newbern
Daly
really
fan.
just did the animated series.
Yeah,
yeah.
then it's completely Daly.
Yeah,
That I watch those and I feel like I'm listening to Superman. So 100%. I couldn't remember the animated series voice for to save my life right now. I haven't seen it in forever, but the DC animated movies, hell yeah, that's Superman's voice for
It's
sure.
really worth rewatching, I gotta say. I feel like I'm plugging it every week, but I think it's just because it's like the thing I kind of get to do when I have that little ounce of free time. I get to watch an episode of Superman Tots, and it's worth it. Like, I think
yeah.
it doesn't get quite enough love as Batman Toss, and that's probably just because that one had more iconic episodes, I will admit. But no, I think like Superman Toss is just it's a great representation of Superman and his mythology in a lot of ways.
It really is. I think the biggest downside to Superman the animated series is the fact that it got a video game on N64.
Yeah, bit of a downgrade.
Yeah.
Hey, who's your least favorite Superman voice actor? Jerry O'Connell.
Really?
Yes.
What was he in?
Thrones of
Apocalypse?
Atlantis.
Really? Oh,
I
maybe I
know he
didn't
was
watch
Thrones
that
of
one.
Atlantis right off the top of the head. Yeah, for sure.
I didn't know the voice actor's name.
Yeah, Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah.
From all kinds of immature shit a long time ago, and now he's on The View.
Oh,
He's on The View. Oh, Darren Criss voiced him in Legion of Superheroes. Interesting.
that is interesting.
Jack Quaid is voicing him in the upcoming show, My Adventures with Superman.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Wait a second.
Damn.
You know what? I'm going to take that back. Jerry O'Connell is not my least favorite. I didn't realize he did so many.
Oh yeah, it was an Apocalypse War, Hush, Batman Hush, Reign of the Supermen. Interesting. Oh, he voiced in Death of Superman.
Superman Man of Tomorrow. That was bad. That was bad voice acting.
Tomorrow. I'm on the behind the voice actors list right now. What year did that come out? Because it's going by year.
What year did what come out?
The movie you're talking about.
Throne of Atlantis?
You know, the one you just mentioned. You didn't mention Throne of Atlantis, did you?
Yeah, that was the first one I brought up. That's the only movie I mentioned.
Oh.
And then I said I didn't realize that that Jerry O'Connell was in so many.
I could have sworn
He
he
was-
was something else. I don't know.
He was in Dark Side War. He was in fucking Death of Superman, Reign of Superman, and Batman Hush.
Yeah.
Some other stuff, but anyway.
I don't think I watched any of those. So, but there's a few different voice actors. Like I gotta check out. Matthew Mercer voiced him. Nolan North voiced him. I gotta check this
I
out.
mean, Nolan North
Channing
just does
Tatum
it
and
in Young
Alan Tudyk.
Justice. Like Nolan North just doubles as Superboy and Superman in Young Justice. That one I
Fair enough.
recognize.
Well, he also voiced him in a few other things,
Okay.
like a lot of other things.
So I'm not a fan of his voice in Man of Tomorrow, but I definitely like it better than The New Frontier. It doesn't even dude's name is Kyle MacLachlan, which he's an actor and I've seen him in a lot of stuff, but
If you've ever seen Twin
Superman
Peaks, you know
voice.
Kyle MacLachlan. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I never knew he voiced Superman.
Yep, in The New Frontier. Not a huge part, but yeah, by far the worst Superman voice that I can remember.
I know I watched. I'd have to go back and check that out because I really like Kyle MacLachlan. But the more I think about it, the less I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he could definitely pull it off, but I just don't remember his voice, in the context of Superman at all.
Yeah. Oh, Yuri Lowenthal voiced him as well.
Ooh.
I think most famously known as
probably rough.
Spider-Man in the Spider-Man video
And-
game.
Ben 10.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Christopher McDonald voiced him in Batman Beyond? Seriously? I thought that was George Newbern.
No, I definitely know it wasn't Newburn's voice. I guess I never bothered to look up who that was because it's like that that's the episode where he recruits Terry to join like the Justice League Beyond, and I can remember the voice vaguely, but like I said, I never bothered to actually look up who that was. I guess that makes sense though.
So apparently I had it backwards. George Newbern was the one that voiced him in Justice League and Tim Daly in Superman Toss. I could have sworn it was the other way around.
Tim Daly did the majority of Superman Toss, but Newburn filled in
Justice League.
for him in the middle. I think that's right.
Nah, Tim Daly did the whole thing. At least according to this, anyway. I just thought I thought I had it backwards. I thought it was the other way around. But Tim Daly did actually do more after that. Oh, damn, Michael Dangerfield. So there's been a lot of voice actors for Superman. Adam Baldwin? Oh, God, I forgot about that. Okay, that's enough. I could go on. I love voice actors. It's a great thing to look up. Anyway, I guess we should get into some comics since we're here.
Probably, yeah.
All right, so we're going to start off our review segment with Harley Quinn number 30. This is brought to us by, wow, autocorrect messed me up. Not Tony Howard, Teeny Howard, with art from Sweeney Boo, letters from Steve Wands, and a wonderful cover from Sweeney Boo. We open on Earth 26, where the Zoo Crew are going up against their toughest foe since Frogzilla, Backside. Yes, the jokes are heavy in this issue. Alley Cat Abra, the famous cat magician, gifts Captain Carrot the magic clownfish as the ultimate weapon in their universe, and just as he's about to use it, it disappears, leaving the Zoo Crew to be decimated by the female furries. God, I miss the Zoo Crew book. Oh. Meanwhile, on Earth 0, or New Earth, we kind of hammer that down. What the hell is it called now? I'm just going to go with Earth 0. Harley is determined to get this clownfish back to where it came from. She calls up Zatanna for a multiversal teleportation spell, but she's left on hold, and then up picks the phone. And who picks up the phone but Dr. Fates, who convinces her to instead use a more menial method because, they can't really mess with the multiverse right now. It's a little fragile, and menial methods sometimes solve your problems a little easier. So, going the more menial route, she decides to order a cosmic treadmill and uses it. Sure, there's nothing more menial.
Flash Museum.
From the Flash Museum, complete with IKEA instructions and an Allen key to help. That's fantastic. So with the
relatable.
help, oh yeah, God yeah. You buy a whole house worth of IKEA furniture, you end up with 20,000 different. Well, not even different. They're the same Allen keys. You don't know what to do with. Right. So no, that's the next line. With the help of her newly multiverse-powered hyenas, somewhat newly, they are being talked through by other, I think what they said, Universe 48, Earth 48 versions of themselves. She makes it to Earth 26 using the Cosmic Treadmill and their help, and finds it destroyed. It's just in shambles. To shreds, you say. She comes across Captain Carrot after doing a little search around and tries to give the fish back to him, but he's a little too pissed off about the fact that she kind of just grabbed it by accident and squandered it and didn't actually need it, so he fights her instead. Kind of don't blame him there. Meanwhile, back at her home, Ivy returns to find no Harley Quinn and a broken houseplant that was gifted to her by Ivy and was apparently hard to kill, yet it's dead. If you remember last issue, Harley sacrificed it to make a spell happen.
Yep.
Yeah. And in our backup, we have, written by Nicole Maines with art from Mindy Lee and letters from Hassan Asmani El-Hao. It's another dream sequence for Harley, where this time she is a knight riding through a kind of a down, out of luck village, trying to find her beloved princess trapped in a castle asleep, which is Ivy. And yet every person she talks to, instead of giving her straight directions to the tower where Ivy is kept, instead asks for help. Constant side quests, never a main quest, until eventually the town is attacked and she fights through the horde of attackers to get all the way to Ivy and wakes up just before planting a kiss on her. Just cute little story. Just fun little
Yeah, it
one.
is.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. Um, backup was quite good. Main story's quite good. Harley's pissing everyone off. Uh,
I'm shocked to hear you say the main story is quite good, considering it featured the death and destruction of like your favorite characters.
The
I'm just happy
entire
they're
zoo
there. I'm just happy
They're
they
Well, they
dead.
exist.
exist.
They're dead. They've been massacred.
They've
They're
been
all
dead
dead except for
before. They were
Captain
once
Carrot.
transformed into normal animals and then
Ugh.
were stepped on. This is a mercy in comparison,
Jeez.
all right? This is
I-
fine.
it's that bad when literally the only Zoo Crew content you'll get is watching them all get killed by a villain named fucking Backside, and you're still like, yep, I'll take it. Such massive hope.
Yep. I am so starving. I'll take the crumbs.
Ugh.
Yeah.
The crumbs of Backside sending the female furries to the to seek out the panty line equation.
See, I spent way too much time on the internet. You said that makes me hate this. The crumbs of Backside alone was bad enough, but then you had to say female furries and the panty line equation in the same sentence, and it's just
You're welcome.
Okay, 0 out of 10.
Oh no!
Oh god. Yeah, honestly though, I miss the Zoo Crew so much. I really wish somebody. Teeny Howard can do a book. Teeny Howard and Sweetie Boo, get a Zoo Crew book going. Make this a backdoor pilot for like a mini series, please. I'm all for this. Captain Carrot is such a dream. I was actually going through like some of the old covers recently, and I realized Captain Carrot was actually a brown bunny, not a blonde bunny. Somewhere along the line, they changed the color of his fur.
Maybe it's one of those post-crisis or post-infinite crisis or post-New 52 or post-rebirth changes. It's hard to keep track, as I'm sure you know.
So many posts, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's been that way since at least Infinite Crisis, because I think that's when they had their 3-issue mini. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Apart from that, though, art was really good. I liked the art of both the main and the backup. I thought it was a lot of fun. 8.75 out of 10. I want more Captain Carrot. I really do.
It'd be
I
cool
was
if we
kind
could
of
get more
bummed.
Captain Carrot.
Like,
Yeah.
I came away from this one. I was like, this feels so destructive. Like they just put the multiverse back together, and then, I mean, unintentionally, obviously, but Harley just kind of fucked it all up. So I don't know. This seems like weirdly like backsliding to me in a way. But I mean, aside from that, it was fun, I suppose. Like I don't really have too much to say other than it's it's humorous, I guess. So
Yeah.
I give a whole issue 8 out of 10.
Right on.
Well, not bad. Yeah, I mean, it's Captain Carrot. There's subtext. There's really bad jokes. There's dirty jokes. It's what else could you expect from a superhero cartoon rabbit? The Zoo Crew meeting their end kind of fucking bummed me out. For a second there, in the book, I thought Captain Carrot was going to hitch a ride home with Harley. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Now he's like all alone on his home planet, and nobody's there to ask him what's up, Doc. That's a bummer. But Ivy is home, and the story all the way around was fun. The backup, Ivy's back, and Harley wakes up next to her, but Harley is still on Earth Carrot. So I'm not sure where the dream lies. What I do know is that Mindy Lee is an absolute fantastic artist and colorist. I hope to see much more from them. All the way around throughout the whole damn issue, art is great. You know Sweetie Boo's is going to be great. Pretty decent story in the back half. Pretty fun one in the first. It looks great. It reads great. And it's a hell of a good time. The downside is, again, that the entire Zoo Crew is dead. The Zoo Crew is dead, but hopefully Rob is right, and we won't have that be the truth from very long. I gave it an 8.25 out of 10.
My whole theory is the fact that it's Earth 26 that this happened on. It's the cartoon world. They may have died, but like toon laws exist and they don't stay dead. It's basically Looney Tunes with superpowers. They don't die. It's impossible.
They don't die, they multiply. That's what DC needs. Bebe's kids. I don't know if you guys remember that shit at all, but man, that stuff was hilarious.
It's on the tip of my mind. It sounds familiar, but I can't quite think of what that is. I know it.
It's an old cartoon.
Yeah.
It's an old cartoon. That was their motto. Bebe's kids. We don't die, we multiply.
I guess I gotta look that up. Anyway, we're gonna move on to Unstoppable Doom Patrol number 3, brought to us by Josh.
Indeed. All right. Written by Dennis Culver, art from Chris Burnham. Just lost it. Brian Reber on colors, letters by Pat Brachot, and Burnham and Reber on the cover. Start this out with Robot Man and Negative Man in the car. Kyle Rayner and Guy Gardner are following behind. The Doom Patrol then decide that they need to outrun the Lanterns and really think that they can because they're jamming up the lantern rings, which, is not cool. They're butting heads, and uncharacteristically, the DP are claiming dominance over the rescue of all things weird. Well, I mean, not really, but that's what Guy is saying to Kyle. Negative Man and Robot Man, they have Starbro in their backseat. Who is Starbro, you ask? Why, I'll tell you. Starro attacked a load of people. People got infected, as usually happens. Someone named Mason was one of them. Mason's latent metagene activated to protect Mason, but not in time to prevent the Starro from latching onto him. It did, however, merge them, and Mason seems happy with it and is acting pretty normal, though he does have a bit of Starro's telepathic powers, which is how he found the Doom Patrol to begin with. The Lanterns, Kyle and Guy, catch up, and it doesn't matter. Robot Man activates the car's ghost mode, and they just drive through a building. The Lanterns stop in a bit of shock, and the negative spirit sneaks up behind them and knocks them out. Not long afterwards, the Lanterns catch up, and it's a standoff until the ring broadcasts an emergency signal for a science cell breakout, and it looks like it's really messed up. So off they go, racing off to Oa. That turns out that was Starbro, though, messing with their minds, which apparently took a lot out of him because he's not full Starro. Cut to Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and Mr. Drew, who gets a package delivered. He opens the box and announces that they are going to war. Inside the box was a mask, like a monkey mask or a samurai demon mask, and it actually looks familiar, but I can't figure out where it's from. While all of this is going on, the rest of the DP are fighting Animal Vegetable Mineral Man. And if you're a classic DP fan, you know exactly who that is. It's such a fitting story for the DP, and this new Starro character is pretty interesting. We need a fun adventure mini featuring Starbro and Jarro. I'd read the hell out of that. But as far as this goes, again, the story is really good. The art is the only place I feel let down. It's not where it needs to be for me. DP should be a little wacky for sure, and that should be reflected in the art, but this isn't wacky. For me, it's just kind of weird choices, thick lines, and a lot of bad faces. So, not a fan, but the story and my interest, it saved the score from for the book a whole bunch. But that's all I had to say about that. 7.75 out of 10 for the Doom Patrol. Yeah, it was a hell of a book, though, guys. I mean,
Yeah,
fucking unstoppable Doom Patrol. It very well could be unstoppable for a little while.
yeah, I hope
Hell
so.
of a fun time.
The acknowledgments of dead names, I think, is a good throwback to what little DP history I do know uh, with the transgender characters and also Rachel Pollack. Uh, I think that was just a nice little nod to the whole community and the idea. Um, and I agree about Starbro and Jarro. Where the hell is
Oh yeah.
Jarro? That was the best part of that
Well,
Justice League run.
I I don't. I think Jaro may have sacrificed himself in death metal.
I was thinking about that just as you were saying it. I think
I,
you're right.
I I think that's the case. But you know what? Damn it! If Infinite Frontier can bring back Roy, it can bring Jaro back too.
Damn straight. Maybe Jarro was the sacrifice needed to bring Roy back. Maybe Roy is Jarro incarnate.
Well, we'll know the next time he sees Batman if he calls him dad.
It's gonna be really fucking weird. I just need to see Dick Grayson's reaction to that.
That would be hilarious.
That would be great. I love seeing the GLs in this. I know it's a Doom Patrol book, but I still love seeing the GLs in this.
Good
It's been
picks for
so
them to
long.
show up to.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen Kyle or Guy in fucking anything. So why not? And honestly, like for this series, I could read every issue as a Monster of the Week episode type story, just on a different mission every month to save a new metahuman, and I would love it. Like this is, it's been that way so far. Three completely different one-off issues with a somewhat overarching plot, but ultimately it's just them going around saving metahumans from danger, and I think it's great. It's a wonderful idea. It's 8.75 for this. Like the between the art and the story, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a much better time than I imagined I would. I remember when I saw the solicit for this, I was like, oh god, this is gonna be
Yeah,
more crossover with the DC. Like this is it's so fucking lame. But honestly, like I feel like it's doing a surprisingly good job juggling the weird with the grounded. And when I say grounded in this context, I mean grounded within the DC universe. So you get, the lantern chase, it's definitely incorporated there, but it still kind of keeps that Doom Patrol flavor. And then of course you get the intercuts and the teases that are teasing at more future strangeness, which I really appreciated. Also, and this is how I know Dennis Culver knows his stuff, because I remember reading an interview with Joshua Williamson, and he was like, I really like Grant Morrison, I admire their stuff, but Dennis, like he is like big on Morrison, like really knows his stuff. And I was I was shocked to see that not only did he remember the painting that ate Paris, which is a pretty iconic DP story from that
yeah,
run, but that he remembered the exact, I think it was the Justice League International team that had Guy on it, who like literally they were just kind of like, if you read that it's like two issues that kind of comprise that particular part of the Brotherhood of Dada story. But if you read it, like they're kind of just standing there with their mouths open, like they don't have anything to do because they've gone off and been weird in the painting that ate Paris, and the rest of the Justice League are just like, I mean, we can't really do anything. Superman kind of gets like a small moment, but everyone else, they're kind of just like hanging around. I think Animal Man gets one line, and I assume that was because Morrison was writing the book at the time. But anyway,
yeah.
back to Unstoppable Doom Patrol. No, it's been like an actual genuine delight reading this book so far, and I think I'm also in agreement with Rob that I'm also really enjoying the art from Chris Burnham. So this one gets an 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Right on. All right, well, Brandon, we're not going to let you stop there because now we're going to talk about Nightwing, number 104, which I honestly, between Doom Patrol, Nightwing, and Action Comics, this is like a prime week for you, man.
Yeah, no, I'm getting everything I want, so I'm very happy. And
Yeah.
Green Arrow.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong
which
with
had
that, right?
some primo
exactly.
Roy moments. But yes, no, that's it's a good way to segue into our next book, which is of course Nightwing number 104, the conclusion of our little Hell Heist arc, written of course by Tom Taylor with art from Travis Moore, colors from Adriano Lucas, and letters from one moment because I forgot to write that down. Wes Abbott with yet another gorgeous cover from Bruno Redondo. This one features, as teased in the last issue, the rise of Superwing, as Dick Grayson now granted the powers of, I mean, it doesn't really specify, but he pretty much has all the powers, now makes his way across the world to help his friends and to help the world in a larger way. I mean, it kind of reminded me of the All Star Superman issue where Lois gets Superman's powers for a day, and it's like I can see and feel, everything that you feel, and it's kind of amazing, but also terrifying in a way where you have all this power and you're kind of expected to be responsible about it. Wink, Spider Man. But yes, no,
Yeah.
Nightwing, Superwing makes his way around the world, helping out where he can, has a little meeting with Superman to kind of ground himself in the perspective that, of course, Superman has had for decades at this point, having been born with the powers and having become accustomed to it. Nightwing, before he's able to take down Neron and the rest of his horde who have been sent to Earth to kidnap Olivia, is stripped of his powers by Neron. And Neron, of course, being the demon that he is still trying to bargain with Nightwing, but of course, he's not having it and has one final trick up his sleeve. Yes, of course, you had to see it coming. It is his fifth dimensional enchanted Eskrima sticks, which were a gift by his old friend Nightbite. It was Nightbite, right?
Mhm.
Getting that right? I forget
Night.
the other name that he gave for himself. Nightbright, Nightlight. You get it. Anyway,
Right.
uses his enchanted Eskrima sticks to turn Neron into a horrible, I don't even know, Lovecraftian demon,
Yeah.
and then sends his ass back to hell. Meanwhile, Olivia is sent to live with the Amazons on Themyscira and is also made an honorary Titan, which I thought was very sweet. And I'm sure
Mhm.
she will be making her return later in the series when she's had a bit more training. Neron, still recovering from everything that happened, gets a little visit from Raven, who promptly decimates him basically, and installs Blaze as the new queen of the underworld, but not before she informs him of a little secret that's going to factor into Titans #1 on sale now, even though it doesn't make any mention of this. But I assume it'll be coming down later in the series.
Yeah.
The backup, written by C.S. Puckett, I hope I pronounced that right, with pencils from Daniel HDR, inks from Jonas Trinidad, and colors from Adriano Lucas, with letters also from Wes Abbott, concludes our little Night at the Circus story, as we now reveal the identity of the person who had tried to sabotage the Trapeze Act. It was a disgruntled ex-employee who was brought to justice, and sort of wraps this little training session slash offshoot mission between Dick and John in a, I think, fairly nice way. So, main story, I actually enjoyed this issue the most. This arc's been a little hit or miss for me. Just the whole concept of the Hell Heist was kind of lost on me. And also, as much as I enjoyed the Titans, I think Rob had said this initially, but it was starting to kind of feel like this was the Titans' second book and not a Nightwing solo book, which is a little bit of a problem when you're reading a book called Nightwing. But I think
Yeah.
this kind of
Right.
put a nice wrap on everything, and hopefully we're getting back to the solo stuff in Bloodhaven, and we can just leave all the Titans stuff to the Titans series. But yeah, no, solid conclusion. Nice seeing Nightwing with powers for a little bit, and of course he would be the super responsible and caring person that he would be. So a fun concept for the little bit that it lasted, and then nice to kind of see the Olivia stuff wrapped for now. I wonder how that will play out in the future. Like I said, I imagine she'll be somewhat of a recurring character later on down the line, but at least she's kind of given a little bit of a happy ending again at the
Right.
conclusion of this arc. So yeah, no, solid issue. Can't really complain, but yeah, I'm definitely eager to get back to some solo Nightwing stuff. And the backup, just a solid conclusion. Nothing too special there. So I gave this one an 8.25 out of 10.
Right on.
Fair enough.
It says this takes place before Revenge of the Gods, and I'm thinking that that timeline does make sense. Um, I thought it was kind of cool that we got to see Nightwing say Nightwing is awesome one more time. Uh, I like how Olivia picked out her superhero code name. She combined Nightwing and Blockbuster for Nightbuster, and she said she did it just to annoy her dad. I thought
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. um, so my question, I got a question, and Brandon's probably the one to answer this, but this goes to you too, Rob. Did Raven just have the power to kick Neron's ass that hard, or does she have some sort of power to take the reign of hell away from him?
I mean, that might be what's explored in Titans because there's something going on with Raven that I think they had this kind of storyline in the uh what the hell was it called? The thing with Infinite Frontier where they did looks into the future. Oh my god.
Oh,
That 2 month initiative.
who cares? It's,
Yeah,
it's
but that
long gone,
that
man.
that little story, I'm pretty sure it was in that where they talked about Raven being split into two, and then I just remember there was something about that recently, that her good side and her bad side were separated, and one was in hell or something like that.
Were you
Uh,
watching the Titans show this year?
no, no, but
Okay, I was gonna
I
say
know
that
what you're
literally
talking about
happened.
because I remember reading it. I'm thinking, oh, this is just like what happened in the cartoon. Um, oh, you're talking about the live action Titan show.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I haven't watched it since season three, but it also happened in the animated series, so I guess it
Hmm.
happens a lot. Um, yeah, so
I'm just
it definitely seems like that, and if it is, I wish I could remember the story that happened, and I'm pretty sure it was in that thing with Infinite Frontier. What the hell was it? Future State. Oh my god. Um, I'm pretty sure it was in Future State Titans or Teen Titans.
that's a hell of a way back, man. There ain't no way I'd
Yeah.
be able to remember that.
Uh,
No way at
but
all.
if it is like that, could be the hint as to just what could be going on with Raven. Wait, was it that or was it Titans pre Infinite Frontier? Oh my god, maybe it's
Man,
that Titan series that ended when Kyle actually joined the team, Kyle Rayner. Maybe it was that.
maybe.
I gotta see if I can find it. But the point is, might be a callback to that, and if that is anything to be looked at, that version of Raven was very powerful and very just non-caring. Um, and maybe when she's
Uh-oh.
got the good side of her in her, that she's a little more reserved in
Oh
unleashing the power,
shit.
right? And just
I think
a
I
little
think
more conscious of how much power she unleashes. So when she doesn't have that conscience within her, she can unleash full power. Realistically, I think with the power of being the daughter of Trigon, she could just one shot the entire DC universe if she wanted to.
yeah. I think you might be right. It's kind of coming back to me. I think in the future state, uh,
Right. In Black
mini
Adam.
mini event, we saw Raven with four eyes.
Yeah, she was even like the thing that was destroying the world, the universe in Future State Black Adam
That's
in
not
like the
okay.
year 1 million. Yeah.
She needs to knock that shit off. That's a long way. They got plenty of time to stop that.
Yeah.
Um, as far as this book goes, though, Travis Moore, not my favorite artist, but he is far from my least favorite, and he does a really good job here. Lucas makes that gold in Super Wings costume. God, I hate that name. But he makes that gold in the costume almost look like it's glowing.
Yeah.
And Taylor put a great ending on Olivia's story. I love that first part. Graded separately, that would have gotten a 9.25. The backup I thought was a good ending, a really soft one, but basically just a feel good story. It was the art was pretty average, really. The colors were great, and John at the end seemed a little too young Clark Kent naive in his dialogue. But all in all, it really was just a little feel good mystery story with the Super Sons 2.0. That would have gotten it an 8 out of 10. It's a very solid book all the way around, and because of that, the score gets a little bit more than rounded up, ovaled up maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, Nightwing as a whole gets 9 out of 10.
Damn, right on. Super Wing is awesome, and unfortunately, this may be the last time we ever see it, and I'm kind of disappointed about that. I really think it's cool, but it's understandable why Nightwing needs to be just regular human, not metahuman or superpowered or anything. It means
Because
more.
he'd make the super fam look like shit. And you
Exactly.
know this.
I gotta say I love the dynamic with Dick and Clark, and not just because of the Rock and New Year's Eve, but also they just have such a great relationship. But that did that just age me, Josh?
Uh-huh. A little
Okay,
bit.
a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay,
A little
that
bit.
that went over some people's heads.
That's okay.
I
It's
imagine
not your
Brandon.
fault
At
they're
least
short.
you know that reference, right?
Was that?
I'm going to take
I,
that as a no.
I said the thing with one of my like what I love about Dick and Clark, besides just the
Uh,
Rock and New Year's Eve.
oh God, nice.
Okay, so you do get
Yes,
okay. I don't
I
feel
could
that
get
old.
that.
I don't feel
Dick
that old.
Clark's rocking New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
No,
All
I don't
right.
think that's that well. Yeah, I don't think that makes you that ancient. They
Yeah.
still do that? I have no idea.
I think they
Dick
they they
Clark's
still they still
dead.
do the
They
Rock and
still
New
do the
Year's
rocking
Eve.
New Year's Eve. Yeah,
I don't know if they put his name on it still as like an honorary thing, or if they just call it
I
the
yeah.
don't
Rock and
think
New
so.
Year's Eve.
It's Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper, if I'm not
I think they
mistaken.
call it. Yeah, like it still has that name, but it's
Is
hosted
it?
by
Oh, I thought it
someone
was Ryan
else.
Seacrest.
Yeah, I think it's Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, well, then that's not the good one. The good one to watch is Anderson Cooper and Andy
Andy
Cohen,
Cohen.
because
Yeah.
they get shit faced and they oh, they say things that are on their mind. It's great.
Oh, okay. I would love to watch Anderson Cooper shit face. That sounds like a dream.
Yep. It only happens when he's with Andy Cohen. So,
Fair enough. Uh, where was I? Right. The
somewhere
relationship
in
with
Ontario.
Nightwing and Superman. I love their relationship. I love seeing them together. Way better than and Nightwing and Batman ever will be. Superman being that uncle mentor to Dick Grayson in a way, and then in turn doing the same thing for John. Dick doing what Clark did for him, but now doing it for John, as we've seen in the backups. I think is such a great turnaround, and fits so well. The Super Wing costume, though, I gotta say, it definitely feels like it takes a lot of notes from the Krypton version of Nightwing, which I think is also very fitting, considering, as I mentioned, the relationship he's had with Superman, as we all know. Um, just that blue and gold and the way it's placed. I took a look at some of the old Nightwing costumes, like the Kryptonian Nightwing, and it's striking how close it is, right? Uh,
Well,
it's
I got
just
some
a
news
great
after
design
you get
choice.
done.
All right. Art's fantastic. I think, yeah, I agree. A very nice ending to the Olivia storyline. I look
Mhm.
forward to seeing her show up again as Nightbuster. There's a lot of young heroes popping up all over the place. I think it's
Oh
time for
yeah,
another
there
Teen
sure is.
Titans or a Young Justice 3.0, if you will. I'm all for whatever they do next. 8.75 out of 10 for this one, though. It's a solid issue. Neron's a bastard, but he's potentially dead now. Raven's just OP. I'm
That
curious what's going
crazy.
on there.
Me too. Me too.
I also love that kind of unhealthy camaraderie between Kings of Hell. Neron and Trigon just talking, shooting the shit, and like, yeah, you're a bitch. You suck too. Yeah, this is my corner of hell. Get out of my corner. Like, just I could read
Well,
that all
now it's
day.
Blazes, so they've got to watch their P's and Q's because if I remember correctly, Blaze is not a patient person.
Yeah, I could believe that.
But guys, I just got a text message from my biological father,
Oh,
and he just went to Walmart, and he was over in the toy section,
oh,
and they were stocking the shelves with the Titans Build-A-Figures.
oh, damn.
This is in Missouri, and it's gonna be too late for anybody to do anything about it. So, but in any case, he was staring at them as they were putting them up on the shelf, and he waited till they were all stocked up and everything. And he's like, he was trying to figure out which one he was going to get. So he grabbed up all four of them, and he took them over to the price scanner, and they were incorrectly barcoded for $5 a piece.
Ooh, I've heard stories of that. It doesn't happen up here.
Yeah. So he just got
So,
the entire Build-A-Figure wave that's going for about 125, 150 bucks collected for $20.
damn.
I
Did
know,
did,
right?
did he get you a set too?
I no, and I kind of pissed off, but I
You
wasn't
should
going to
tell
say
him to.
that.
Should ask
Give me a
him.
set, damn it.
I'll send you $20. Get me four.
I'm gonna
Oh,
text him right now.
I can feel Brandon's jealousy through the silence. Wait, are you there, Brandon?
Well, I mean, he's still connected, so he's
Yeah.
probably
Wait,
talking to
sorry,
somebody.
sorry. I was playing piano. I wasn't paying attention.
Did you hear
I heard like
Josh's story?
Titans figures, and then like I kind of zonked out, and then I wasn't paying attention.
Josh's dad got all four Titans Build-A-Figures from McFarlane for
Oh.
$20
Oh, jeez, that is
because
He went to
Walmart had
Walmart
incorrect
and
pricing.
damn,
yep, they scanned wrong. $5 a piece.
man.
That's a hell of a
I gotta check
coupon,
the
man.
Walmart here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say. I think I paid $20 for just Roy.
Yeah,
Yep.
goddamn, that's a hell of a
I
steal.
just told them, I said, hey, if
Yeah.
you go back there and there's still $5, pick me up 3 sets and I'll pay you for them.
Yeah, jeez.
That's insane.
It is insane.
God,
Hell of a lucky
I-
thing, though, man. That shit
I
never
wish that
happens to
happened up
me.
here.
Other than I found that Batman statue from McFarlane, the year 2 one with his cape long drawn. You know, he's standing
Oh,
next
yeah.
to the tombstone and all that. I found that for $75, and I was looking online, and that's usually like 90 to 120. But those are the
Yeah.
deals that I find. You
Yeah,
know, 15
still a
bucks
deal.
off 100. You know,
yeah.
$20 off of 25. Yeah, that only happens to other people.
Yeah.
I don't get that kind of action,
Go figure.
unfortunately. Yes.
Oh man. All right. We are moving on to our last book of the week. What's that last book? That's right. I said last book of the week.
Why is
And
this
I
our
bet
last
you're
book
wondering-
of the week, Rob?
I bet you're wondering why only 4 books? Well, last week, if you were listening, you heard that we started up our paid review episodes as well, our subscription only reviews, which will feature on average, we'll say 3 books per week. Usually, what would essentially be
Our spotlight issues.
spotlight issues. Sorry, what's not a word? You very confused me.
KK is not a word.
Oh,
K. All right, sure. That's
KK.
acceptable. But there's
KK.
there's no reasons for 2Ks. There never has been, people. There never has been.
There is definitely a reason for 2Ks.
No,
And
there's
that
not.
is all those sports games, Borderlands. Like 2K Studios has done so much.
Nonsense. GG, sure. KK, nonsense. It's the exact same amount of letters as OK.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
But instead of hitting O and then K, I just double tap the K. I don't have to move my finger to the upright.
Total laziness.
It is.
You just swipe it now. I mean,
I don't even have to do. I just tap. That's it. Tap enter. Done.
Sad, man.
It's been going for like 15 years. People have been doing this.
I know.
Maybe
and
longer.
It breaks my little grammatical heart.
Anyway, yes,
I just looked up and Man-Bat was trying to eat me.
Our paid review episodes are essentially what our spotlight sections were. New number ones, big issues, and if there's very few of those, we're still trying to keep it to 3 books an episode minimum. So you might just see the occasional very interesting issue just pop up there. And if you want to see
like
what
this
books
week, where we put
reviewing,
in the green arrows.
Exactly. And if you want to see what books we are reviewing later on today, I was going to say later on today for us, but in another episode altogether for you, be sure to check it out. All you got to do is subscribe to our Discord for $2.99 a month, and you get access to that, plus so much more. It's really worth it. Definitely check it out. And I've also realized that we skipped
over. You pay
over
more for a cup of coffee.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, depends where you go. Up here, it's like $2 for a large at Timmy's, but if you go to Starbucks, yeah, you're paying like insane. Yeah, but the coffee sucks. So
coffee does suck at Starbucks. It's burnt and it's burnt on purpose, people. All right.
I agree. That's why I go to Second Cup. Really, lawnmower guy? You have to do this now? I hope that's not being picked up on the mic.
Oh, I can hear it loud and clear, but we'll get that in post. Jimmy, all right. I need lawnmower in post.
Jeez, what the hell? It sounds like a freaking chainsaw. What? Is this even a lawnmower?
That sounds like a leaf blower. Sounds like a leaf blower to me. Or a lawnmower.
Oh my god!
Actually, it sounds like
a lawnmower. It's an industrial-sized lawnmower. It's one of the giant freaking ride-ons. Holy crap! That thing's loud. I felt my chair vibrate. I'm on the 2nd floor.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
all right.
That's a heck of a lawnmower. Before we continue, though, I realized we forgot to do the honorable mentions.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I jumped right into Harley Quinn, and I was like, there's something missing here, but I'm going to just go with it.
Well, I can wrap it up real quick. DC Ruby number 4, The Sandman Universe, The Dead Boy Detectives number 6, and Static Shadows of Dakota number 4 are all awesome. Tim Drake, and Robin number 9 is not.
I will admit, though, like this current story arc with Batwoman, I don't hate it. I still question the boat. The boat is still so stupid, but the actual story isn't bad.
It's better. It's still bad. It's still bad.
I mean, it's definitely better. I wouldn't call it as definitely not as bad as it was. But like, if this were the opening story arc, I would have given this book a better chance. I still question the choices about the boat, though. The whole living on a marina thing, I don't know. I don't care how it can be explained. It makes no sense.
It's really dumb, like a lot of other choices.
Yeah.
But that Megan Fitzmartin deserves no more breath from me.
Right. Instead, we will give breath to Action Comics number 1055.
Hey, seeing how this is such a big one, do we want to talk about this one in parts?
Yeah, we
Might
can do that.
almost be a little bit easier that way.
Sure thing. We can do
Right.
just that. I mean, yeah, we could do that. Like the backups are very, very small, but we could still do that. Okay, so the main story, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson with art from Rafa Sandoval, colors from Matt Herms, and letters from Dave Sharp, with an amazing looking cover featuring the one and only Hank Henshaw, the cyborg Superman, by Sebastian Fiumara. So Superman and Fam, the Super Fam, continue to help John Corbin find his sister Tracy Corbin by hunting down the cyborg Superman Hank Henshaw. And in order to find Henshaw, Superman, joined by Connor, Steel, and Supergirl, completing the Rise of the Superman collection, activates a basic version of the Eradicator. An Eradicator does locate Henshaw using his ability to find... ability? Yeah, I guess ability is the right word. To find discrepancies in Kryptonian DNA, such as Connor and John. And locate them down and eradicate them. Yeah, the Kryptonian mudbloods, if you will. Yeah. So Eradicator does locate Henshaw and takes the group to his lair, quote in quotations, where they discover Henshaw with an upgraded body, realistically just a shiny new arm, and Tracy, now a Metalo herself, because Henshaw's been up to some shit, as he does. During the run through walk through the dark, long hallway towards the main base, the main room where Henshaw is located, Osul and Otho are both with the Super Fam as well, and are talking with with Corbin, as they find him very creepy, and he gives them a brief rundown of his own childhood and his history and why he is the way he is, and then they start to feel a bit of remorse towards it. And, so did I. Maybe Metalo's not so bad, as he really does want to turn himself around now. Could be very interesting, I think, if Metalo becomes a proper good guy, but something tells me that's not going to happen. He might be too far gone as a machine. What do you guys think about that? You're muted, bud.
Why am I not surprised? Superman calling for the Eradicator is fucking mind-blowing. Them bringing up Helgramite, Neil Adams baddie, yuck. He really is gross.
Yeah.
Oh, yuck. I know way too much about real Helgramites because Holly is a nature nerd, so...
Oh, yeah.
And like you, I'm assuming Tracy is now the new Metallo. It wasn't exactly clear, but sure as hell did look like it. This part, man, it's such a great story. I truly do look forward to reading this every month. Nothing to do with being a huge Superman fan. I haven't been in a long time, but PKJ fixed that. The story, it's the story that keeps pulling me back. Nothing else. I mean, the rest is amazing as well, but it's the actual story. It's just that good. And the art is nearly perfect. If this part was the whole issue, it would have a 9.75 out of 10. Easy all day long.
Yeah.
What do you think, Big BC?
I'm right there with you. I mean, I've been singing the praises of this book for so long. It just feels kind of repetitive, but it just kind of continues to impress. And it's like there are like little things in the book that I'll pick up on, and it'll spark an idea that I know Johnson will eventually explore, but it just kind of gets me more and more excited. Like they've frequently been talking about like the Blue Earth movement. We haven't really gotten a lot of context for that, but it's this active presence in Metropolis. But there's also this, it's like one line where they talk about the War World refugee camps. There's like a neighborhood or something. And like we know that's a part of Metropolis, but still an area that's totally unexplored. And I was just like, there's so much potential there. And I could totally see him fleshing that out. Like, how do these War Worldians fit into Metropolis and everything? But I mean, aside from like the smaller points, the main story is also really great too. And kind of seeing how he's been able to, I think, flesh out Metallo more than, I mean, any other writer I can think of, because I feel like Metallo is usually kind of like, he's like a Superman villain you throw in when you just need a Superman villain for him to fight. He never really had that level of depth to him, with the exception of a couple of places. So I feel like this is kind of really, giving him that extra added level of sympathy, despite the horrible things that he's done, and also a possible path of redemption for Corbin, which I think could be an interesting angle to explore. I can't imagine he's going to be absolved of everything, but it's at least someone's like trying to kind of build a larger story. So I appreciate that. So, like you said, definitely a book I continually look forward to, and just can't wait for the next one. And I am so in love with the fact that this story, which is great, is being put on pause for a fucking Night Terrors tie-in for the next 2 months after June. So I can't wait. It's going to be so great. But yeah, no, this one gets, at least the main story gets 9 out of 10 for me.
Right on.
Sarcasm is strong in this one.
There's something I've realized, and well, before I get into that, I just want to shout out that the whole Death of Superman throwbacks here, and just having all 4 Superman replacements show up in the same freaking panel, I thought was fantastic. Both from the original story as a throwback, and also like in today, it was really cool to see. But also, I think I've realized Superman's greatest enemy, and it's kind of a finicky one for him, and it's technology. It's not Lex Luthor, it's not Brainiac, it's not Cyborg Superman, it's technology itself. And there's one thing I've noticed, that all of his greatest enemies, and 3 of which I just named, because if you ask somebody who Superman's biggest nemesis is, those 3 will get brought up more often. And all 3 heavily have to do with technology, and they tend to always be a thorn in his side.
Technology and magic.
Like magic's up there, but I think magic is considered more of the weakness, instead of. But with enemy, like, it's kind of interesting, because Superman is kind of a scientific genius in the same right, and is no stranger to technology. But the technology his home planet used, very different from the technology he goes up against, and he's almost like. Wow, I'm getting a little deep with it now. Almost like his enemy is time. He's a man of the future, stuck living as a person from the past, but also fighting present future. Oh, God. What is wrong with you? What the heck? I hurt my brain.
Everybody likes layers.
I hate talking about time. I got to figure out that thought, write it down, and see where I was going with that. Oh,
it's a parfait.
God. Yeah. All right. Now moving on to the first backup. Clark and Lois 2, Electric Boogaloo. Clark and Lois are taking the fight to Doombreaker directly, and with Lois finding a stun gun of sorts, leave him in a stasis. of sorts as they then discover the ship that John found. Realizing he may still be in great danger as they discover the princess that took him lied about needing to stop a violent uprising against her, as the uprising is instead to stop her being a violent dictator of a ruler that may have actually killed her parents to get there, and she's taken John straight to that home planet she is from, where all the people are currently riding to get into the palace and basically kill her. But then she kills them first using giant robots.
A jerk.
Seriously, what a big jerk.
Kill
bit of a Killimax, that's
Killimax.
Bit of a small chapter, this one, compared to the previous stories we've had in this story. Really just catching up to plot, I think, is what this one felt like, which I'm not against, but just didn't feel like much happened in comparison. They finished off with Doombreaker temporarily, and now they just got to get back to John. We'll see where this goes, but I trust in Dan Jurgens. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what?
Definitely.
I didn't say the credits. I wrote them down separately. Yeah, this was written by Dan Jurgens with art from Lee Weeks, colors from Elizabeth Breitweiser, and letters from Rob Lee.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I can tell you I was not supposed to like this story that much. I warned against it, actively spoke out. I was wrong. While the art was good, it's not my favorite, but this is another one of those that just keeps me coming back. You know how with digital issues, hell, even sometimes even with physical ones, you forget about the backup? Nope, not here.
Yeah.
If this was an individual story, this would be 8.75 out of 10 for sure. Nice.
Yeah. You there?
Oh, I might have been muted. Sorry. I think I muted myself. No, I said, some might say that the flashbacks to the Kid John days are unnecessary. I don't know. I'm with you, Josh. Every month I keep coming back, have a great time. It's just fun and innocent, and the art is great. So I don't know. I can't imagine why anyone would complain, but I'm sure they can find a reason. So this one got an 8.5 out of 10 for me.
I was one of those people. I said, let's leave young John back in the past. But, God damn it, I was wrong. This story is great.
It's the distant past,
I'm glad that it happened.
2019. Or I guess 2019.
Right.
Distant past.
Just over a third of a decade.
God damn it.
Right.
Yeah. All right. And our last backup, because Action Comics, a special, they get two, is about Steel, written by
This
Dorado.
is where Rob gets to say, I told you so.
Oh, as I read it, I was thinking, I can't wait to tell Josh I told you so. Yeah. All right. So this is written by Dorado Quick with art from Yasmin. I thought it was Yasmin, but then I wrote it down as Yasim. Maybe that's autocorrect because I could have sworn it was Yasmin Flores Montanez, with colors from Brad Anderson and letters from Dave Sharp. John Henry is giving a presentation to a board. We're not sure what the board is. Not a wooden board, a board of people. We're not sure where this board is or who the board is or what the board is, but it's a board of people to prove the metal of his steelworks.
It's the board of directors over the incorporation of Metropolis. Basically, the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, okay, all right. I wasn't sure about that because I thought I wasn't sure if it was another company or if it was Steelworks board of directors or a city board of directors. It was very kind of on the fence about that one. Okay, but that makes sense. But yeah, he's giving this presentation to a board of directors to prove the metal, if you will, of his Steelworks technology, providing sustainable shields for each building in Metropolis for a lesser cost than other companies, and providing nothing but protection for the people of Metropolis, for the people by the people, which has been said many times, but this is quite honestly more on the nose than it's ever been meant to before. Steelworks drones will be on the street during various crises to assist the population, and it has safe walls in place controlled by the people of Metropolis with their smartphones to protect against hacks and controlling issues and any danger that may happen against the populace. All of this seemed to go very well until Mr. Terrific shows up. Told you so, Josh. To tell John Henry that he's made a mistake. Yeah. I get where you were coming from last issue, Josh, with you weren't sure if it was Mr. Terrific because it was so shadowy, didn't make sense. I was on the fence by that too, but I could not draw away from the fact that those are clearly T-spheres. You can see the T, but those are T-spheres. It had to be. Yeah. There was no other way. Yeah.
Just didn't make much sense to me.
I had a feeling it was going to be more of like a friendly see you soon, John, instead of a dastardly see you soon, nefarious see you soon, John.
There you go.
Because Terrific does come up and say you've made a grave mistake, but we think it's just like, by the way, I hacked your system. Like you fucked up. I found a flaw.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Either way, I'm super stoked for Steelworks, and I hope that while it is a different creative team than we're getting in this story, I do hope the level of fun and interest that I have kind of translates well into the ongoing series, which I think is supposed to come out this month, if not next month. I'm all for it, though.
That'd be great. I'm looking forward to it, too. Yeah, for sure.
For the whole issue, though, loved it. All three stories were really interesting. Cyborg Superman, one of my favorite villains of all time. Steel was great to see. I love Young John era of Superman stories. 9.25 out of 10 for this issue. Screw it, 9.5. It's a good day.
Dude, I mean, what can you even say anymore? I mean, for one, it should be getting passed around in DC. Should we just call this Philip Kennedy Johnson's Action Comics? And I mean, we could honestly just move Action to Quick Bites permanently. It could be summed up like, yeah, it was awesome again.
Yep.
It's another Swamp Thing situation where it's just every issue is top of its game, and you don't feel like you're getting slighted or the story is suffering or stuttering at all. And it's just so solid, man. And with books like Swamp Thing, Detective Comics, Poison Ivy, this one, where the stories are just phenomenal, man. I really, really, truly hope that is going to be a trend that keeps going in DC. Even if it means that all we get is just minis. Which I don't want, by the way.
No. But it is, honestly, it's a way to gauge interest in a book, unfortunately. It is the way right now. It seems to be working.
Well, let's see what happens, as long as it's not every book goes to minis. All right. That's everything for Action Comics, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with it.
Exactly. Brandon, what do you think of Steelworks?
Well, I love the rest of this issue, and I kind of like the story for this backup. The dialogue was so bad. I couldn't believe it. It was trying like real, and I don't know how old this writer is, so I can't gauge it. I just it was so bad. Like it was trying so hard to be like hip, and I understand at a certain point that like you're gonna have stuff like that, but like it feels so awkward seeing that stuff trying to translate in the comic, and I think that was the biggest detractor for me, was the dialogue. The art was okay.
Michael Holt saying, you done messed up, right?
Yeah. Well, also just like, oh my god, what did what did Nat say? What did Natasha say? She like said like it's mid, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh God, peel my skin
Yes.
off.
The
It's so
entire
cringe.
conversation between her and Connor was
Like
bad, man.
her and Connor
Ugh.
was like painful. So like I like the story. Like I like the focus on Steelworks, and I'm with you. I'm excited to see Michael Dorn and Sami Basri, and all the previews and stuff look really great. But God, I hope the dialogue is not like this, or I will not be long on that book. The series, well, the issue in particular, I'm going to give it a 9 because everything else is great, but the backup was like I don't even want to score it because I'm really conflicted because the story is somewhat interesting, just the focus on Steel, but God, the dialogue is so fucking bad. It was almost hard to get past.
I did find the dialogue cringy at times, but I just
Yeah,
chalked it up
Yeah,
to
being
whatever
20
slang.
something. No offense,
it's
Brandon.
just I know. I like. I mean, so that's the thing. Like, I can use it in my day to day life because I'm a real person, and that makes sense. But just I don't know, seeing it spoken in a comic book by characters that are in some cases older than my grandparents, or at the very, I mean, not like Natasha and Connor, but like it feels so awkward and like just a weird attempt to try and make it more modern or relatable and I don't know. I've never been fond of that when writers try really hard to make it sound like what the kids are saying now, and I say that as a kid myself.
Yeah. Don't do that because it really dates the comic. And in 20 years, no one's going to be able to go back and read No Cap Fam and even know what the fuck that's supposed to mean.
I don't even know what the fuck it's supposed to mean now.
It means no lie.
My point exactly.
It means I'm not lying, but I mean, anyway,
No cap
let's
fan?
keep No Cap Fam. Let's keep it normal and maybe not super duper cringy. Although I will say that we'll call it teenage speak. This teenage speak is way better than Brian Michael Bendis's teenage speak. I'll read
Yeah.
that shit over the last series of Naomi any day.
That's a
His
tough
teenage
line.
speak? Yes, his teenage speak. The teenage speak he wrote? Yes,
Yeah,
that teenage speak that he wrote.
his
The
stuff is
teenage
like
speak that Bendis wrote. Yeah, the teenage speak that Bendis
not even,
wrote.
it's not even teenage speak. It's more just repetitive. Like it's deliberately trying to be repetitive because he's a huge David Mamet fan. But like, I don't know. I'm conflicted because like I read that stuff and I wince, and I feel like they're kind
Yeah.
of on that same level of obnoxious. But that's just me.
Mhm.
He's being repetitive? Yes, being repetitive. Bendis being repetitive. Bendis totally being repetitive. Brian Michael Bendis? Brian Michael Bendis, BMB, being
You got it.
repetitive. It's all I can think about whenever I hear his name is just the constant word bubbles of the same shit over and over again in a single panel.
I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember it or not, but when I see Brian Michael Bendis's ladder dialogue, that's what I call it. It reminds me of the Labyrinth, the the first scene where David Bowie steals the baby. And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
just look up that clip. You don't have to sit through all of Labyrinth. So saith the Brandon. But
Yeah.
the boy with the babe. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of, and it's not a good thing. No one can pull that off except for
Brandon, you ain't muted,
David
bud.
Bowie.
Man loves his piano. He's gotta have what the hell's it? He's scoring the podcast.
Yeah. Look, it's a
Give us an
piano
ominous
for
tone.
me.
I love it.
Piano for me is much like your figures. Like if it's in front of me, I'm gonna play on it. Like
That's
I'll
fair.
play with
I
it.
get that.
I
get
can't
that.
resist. You expect no less.
I get it. Just give us like a deep score, like a deep sound,
You got
like something ominous is about to come. At least soon. because we're getting into our top 3 books of the week and our favorite moment if we had
Wait, I
one.
got you.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Oh, chills. I like it. Oh man. All right, let me start us off here, because it's gonna sound confusing, but I couldn't help it. I just if we're doing this, we're doing it like this. My top 3 books of the week are number 3, Justice Society of America. Hint, hint. Number 2,
Intense.
Green Arrow? Question mark. And number 1, Action Comics, because hell yeah. And if you're confused by that top 3, well, that's just more meaning to check out our subscription review show, and you'll see why 2 of those books made my top 3. JSA and GA are in my top 3. You got to check that out because, goddamn, I like them. I had a favorite moment if I had one. Well, I did have 2, actually. Eradicator showing up was a bit of a thrill, but I got to give it to Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew writing again one more time. Hopefully not the last time.
Hopefully. Well, my top 3 are actually kind of similar to yours, just a little bit shifted in order. At number 3, I had JSA, which I'm sure we'll get to in the bonus episode. At number 2, I had Action Comics, but at number 1, had to give it to Green Arrow, which was easily the issue that put the biggest smile on my face. But my favorite moment, at least from the books that we've covered this week, probably would have to go to, I don't know, honestly, just the moments between the Super Family and Action were pretty great, and them kind of going back and forth on creepiest villain and also taking out parts of the Necro Hive. Like, just seeing them work together was great.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, sticking with the general consensus here, my top 3 is going to make you want to bump on over to that bonus show as well. Number 3, against all expectations, is City Boy. Number 2 is Nightwing, and number 1 is Action Comics. And because it rang back so true to my childhood, my favorite moment out of the regular show is going to be in Harley Quinn when she's walking up and she goes, "Oh man, the Gravitron. I used to love these things. I'd have the gnarliest pukes after them." I can so relate, Harley. It was my favorite ride. I had to make sure I didn't eat at least 3 hours prior to getting on it, but it was so fun. Love the Gravitron. Yeah. Favorite moment.
Right on. All right. Well, that was our favorite moment. And now it's time for your favorite moment. It is...
Is it?
Oh, that's nasty.
I was going to say Brandon plays in.
Gotcha.
There you
Perfect. Go. I love it. All right. Yeah, fuck it. I didn't have one this week. I'm going to be honest with you. I took some Pepto. I honestly didn't even hate Tim Drake this week. I'm not going to say I loved it. I tolerated it to a point that I didn't hate it.
Oh,
I was trying to think. Like, I genuinely don't think I had, and I think the last week I didn't have one either. So I feel bad, kind of like weaseling out of it again. But the lowest score I think I gave was for Harley, which was an 8 out of 10, and that's pretty good. So I think I also took some Pepto this week, maybe a couple Tums.
The lowest score I gave was 8.75.
So
the lowest score,
it was pretty high this week.
Yeah.
The lowest score I gave this week was 7.75, and that went to Unstoppable Doom Patrol, a book that I had a lot of fun with. But I think that it is of no surprise that if I'm going to mention a biggest stinker...
I want to flush it again.
Goodbye, Tim Drake. going down the bubble.
And you're coming out in the marina. Because that's where Gotham sewage goes. You're living in a toilet.
Back door.
Ugh,
None of this makes any sense.
that just brought us right back to backside, and I need to stop.
Nice.
All right.
The
Well,
Pentiline
with-
equation.
God damn it. I see
You're
that
welcome.
joke just raises more freaking questions than answers, and I don't want to ask them. I just don't. All right. Well, that's our show. If you feel like supporting us, be sure to check out our Discord server for only $2.99 a month. Visit our website, notarobotpodcast.com, for links to Twitter, Instagram, Discord, our various shows, and more. And subscribe to our Substack for bonus reviews and articles. And as always, there's only one way we say goodbye around here. Until next time.
Be good to each other. The dramatic effect.
And don't play the piano. No, I'm just kidding. And don't be a robot. Don't ever stop playing the piano.
Productions.